What? What? Access next. Notes? Are all my old notes here though? I like the coloring on her. It's nice. Okay, so it's all little notes. So this is what I'm supposed to do. Got it. Smith's family tree. Show message. Well, I think that speaks for itself, doesn't it? That's what a genealogy is supposed to look like. Hopefully that's more helpful. Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, so here's what a family tree is supposed to look like. None of these weird clever mess I did. But here's a few notes of my own about some of the women that you might actually care about. Smith saying hi, older sister of main Smith branch, married into Wong family in 285, widow in 314, taken by younger Wong brother in 37, no sons. Also Jin married that guy in 310, no sons or daughters of her own. Courtesan purchased by and married Smith Sang 1313, no sons. Hannah, Courtesan, and Jin Smith, no sons or daughters. Smith Min Hei, Smith Sang's Min's daughter by the Courtesan Zheng. Promised to Park family but not formally married. Okay, can I like show her all these messages? See what she said? Stars! Yeah, what a mess. Leave it to her to clutter things up with the useless names. It's not a surprise coming from someone as childish as her, of course. Anyways. Weird. So weird. Cliche to remember. What do you gotta say about this? Okay, yeah, no. A base? Seriously? What a complete and utter misrepresentation. In case it wasn't obvious, that's completely liberal and messed up translation. Yes, it's a common phrase, but that's not what it means. What it really means is male superiority. That's all. Fine. It's cliche that kind of states the obvious, so what? I don't know what she's playing this women's are brass nonsense from. It's stupid. Can I change your outfit? Because no, you're absolutely adorable, but just out of curiosity. Okay, so let's start with block 3. Brought home. Show message. That's actually from before I knew her. It's pretty hard to imagine her as a blushing newlywed, honestly. She was an awfully good friend of mine. We chatted a lot. You have to understand though, she might not have been a very good wife. It's absolutely not her fault. It's like what I reported to my mistress. Hayu Shihei, none of the problems in her marriage were her own fault. She was just the wife of a lousy man, plain and simple. Mostly she tried to do the best she could. I don't want you to look down on her, understand? Oh! Let's just do this one first. Show message. I know it sounds like saying Min is just being harsh on his little brother, but I assure you his characterization of him isn't wrong. I honestly kind of tend to avoid him. I was friends with his older brother's wife, and his younger brother was an absolute gentleman, but he was not a very nice man. He was the sort of person that the court exams were supposed to keep out in theory. Didn't work, of course. He studied just as well as his brothers, or so Sang-jun told me. Here, you want to see the usual sort of behavior that you get from Smith Senka? He added another entry, this one by Kim-sun. Kim-sun? Okay. Laughable situation. I cannot believe just 2 years ago, I was actually excited about moving into Smith home with my husband. Oh, how shortly that lasted. I find it funny. First time I realized that I would have to compete for his affections with every common woman and every person he comes across, I was so shocked. First time he brought one home, I cried for a week, and mother-in-law was furious with me, claiming it was my fault for not being enough for him. Now I realize the insanity of her reasoning, as she wouldn't have already known her son was simply that sort of man. The only person who had any right to be shocked was me. So I struggled for his attention, but now it's all but banal. If the truth is to be told, this is something I would tell not mother-in-law, nor mute, nor at least any of all my husbands. I do not even fight for his affections for his own sake. It is pure selfishness on my part. All I wish is for some indicator that it isn't as though I'm unattractive, that it isn't as though I'm unlikable. Any affections he gets is simply an attempt at fishing that affirmation out of him and nothing more. Okay. Oh, wait. What do you got to say about this, honey? I wish they could speak for themselves. That would save my voice a little bit. She was an awfully good friend of mine. We chatted a lot. You have to understand though. Okay, we already read all that. So, next. Daughter. For the past 2 months, ever since it became impossible to hide that she was with child, Jamie has been living in our house and no visitors have been allowed to come in. It has created an incredibly awkward state of affairs. I can hardly stand to be in the same room with her, of course, let alone live with her. Until recently, so few words have we exchanged. I did not even know her name until the 3rd week of her living here. My husband made me agree to go along with the fiction that the child is actually mine, which, well, I've yet to give him one myself, so that is how I am to make up for it. Then that is what I'll do. I thought it was going to be so hard to keep up with that pretense, pretend that this child is my own, while the real mother lives under the same roof. Yeah, apparently not. As it turns out, the whole charade has been for absolutely nothing. After all that, the child turns out to be a girl. Of course, I'm sure Jingmi is quite happy, since she already been brought out, in the hopes that we could pretend her son was mine, but a legitimate daughter, well, who cares? It would almost be funny if not for the fact that it means I will have to live with that constant reminder of how little my husband cares for me. Almost, but not really. Wait, are you gonna say the same thing all the time, or are you gonna say something different for this one? High Master Smith Sangmin, huh? Well, as High Master, he was one of the highest ranking officials until just before the end. I don't want to paint a misleading portrait, as I understand he was a very just man and performed his function quite well. It was politics that caught up to him in the end. It's like I report to my mistress, Ryoshin. He might have been a good magistrate, but his family conduct was less than the pinnacle of virtue. How many wives does a man takes is no business but his own. He never did anything illegal, but knocking up courtesans owned by the court? Man, that's just bad politics. And just completely unfair for his primary wife. Ugh, can you imagine? So that's why he lost his position. Years of embarrassment in the family finally culminated in him turning into a real reliability for the emperor. But it wasn't always like that. Here, let me try to paint an even portrait of him for you. I've added an assortment of logs about him. I hope this gives a good idea of what it means. Let's go do this one first. I'm sorry. Uncle Deho, look, I'm sorry about our last conversation, alright? It's like I said to you before, you just caught me at a really bad time. So, Jin was kept in bed rest on strict doctor's orders. I'm sorry that you brought your wife all the way to get turned away like this. When I told Jinja that you have given her well wishes on her pregnancy, she was happy but sad she couldn't see you herself. A child was born last week, a daughter. We decided to name her Minhee, and Sojin is recovering well. The doctor said that it would be fine for her to see visitors next week. I'm sorry I got angry. If your wife still wants to see mine, or the child, or my mother, by all means, you're welcome to visit. I really hope that there's no hard feelings, Uncle. Oh, right. I keep forgetting to show her these. Hi, we already read all this. Did I read this? I don't remember reading this. Oh yes, we did read that. That's the guy talking about his brother being terrible. A transcription fragment of a conversation held with Smith Sanction. Oh, that was how I knew shit had gone serious. He actually agreed to let me pick the drinking house we went to. My oldest brother only ever humors me when he really trying to get on the good side. It's never a good sign. Well, I mean, it's good for me, but certainly not for him. I'm sure a classy lady such as yourself wouldn't be familiar with that kind of place. Haha, no, you know that sort. No, you know the sort. Tucked away in an interior deck, lots of wood furniture that has been stained, and not intentionally, with just enough commoners milling about to give a good background soundtrack. Oh, and it's run by a woman. Nice lady too. So it's that sort of place. We arranged to meet up at the door. It's been a while, brother. I'm sorry. I couldn't speak to you sooner, he said, trying to be polite. You're full of shit, I said, but hey, it's good to see you. So what do you want? I mean it, he said. He's a bad liar. So why here, anyway? At that point, the owner came by asking what we like. The only real thing you need to know about Shinhei is that she's around my age. She's got the biggest tits I've ever seen in my life, and she dresses like a commoner. So you can certainly see them. Oh, he said, fair enough. Bring your finest Ojo. I ordered, please. She responded, you can't afford our finest. Totally not true, by the way. My reputation for being a treat drunk, completely unfounded. Honestly, I've had no idea where people get these crazy ideas from. Anyway, far be it from me to argue. I just replied, maybe not, but my brother can. I mean, I knew he was going to ask me for money, that was obvious. Might as well get as much as I could out of him before giving whatever he wanted. Right? Fine, we'll be sharing that, he said. Then he added, but how much to share it with you too? She blushed. Amazingly. Really? She's got a lot of practice dealing with people like my brother, but I save her the misery of having to fuck back with him. Do you really need more of that kind of trouble right now? With that, he let her go. Anyways, drinks came, we argued about the loose definition of finest, our server's tits, and the good old days when father was still alive and we didn't have to work out our problems ourselves. The biggest bullshit ever, I said, is that we're expected to be responsible men here. How'd that happen? He laughed, and was now drunk enough to start taking cheap shots. Is that why you never bothered to be one? Ouch, I said. Damn it, hurry up and pour me more. I'll drink to that. He poured, but didn't say anything. Alright, so what is it that you want? I'm getting the impression that you have a problem and you want discretion, because you're talking to me, right, brother? I was right. So where did you put it this time, brother? I asked. Put what? He replied. Oh, cut the shit. I said. We both know full well that all your problems in life have always, without fail, stemmed from you putting your dick somewhere you shouldn't have. He grunted in disagreement, but it's totally true. Was it at least a female this time? I swear to my father, brother was just right about to punch me. Didn't though. Said he just drowned his drink. Yes, that's the damn problem, he said. She's saying she hasn't bled in 2 months now. Of course, and I promised him my help. Better she gets bought out by me than by my brother the High Magistrate. Less suspicious that way, and involves nothing unlawful. Believe me now, proper damned gentleman. That's me. Okay then. Legendary temper, a cleric. Oh, wait, I didn't read that. Let her talk about that. Proper damned gentleman. What do you guys say about a mute? Well, that's what I told him at the time. I could have maybe done without the description of her breasts, but that kind of story was definitely pretty common for him. The part where he cleaned up after his family's mess, I mean, not the details about a moral-looking common woman. And well, drinking too. But look, wait, what? I mean, not the part where he cleaned up after his family's mess. Oh, okay. And well, the drinking too. But look, that part, he's had a good cause for. Sure, it was his room, but he can't blame a man for that. I mean, the stuff he had to put up with, if your brother had it like that, I'm sure he'd do the same. It wasn't all that bad, really. We spent a lot of evenings drinking together, talking long into the night. Well, he would anyways. Obviously not really so much drinking on my part. Ah, good. I keep pressing the wrong button. But he was the kind of man who'd still pour a glass for you all the same. So that whole sarcastic thing about him being a proper gentleman, it's not sarcastic. He really was. Well, he was being sarcastic, but still. He totally, absolutely was the best damn gentleman around. Wait, am I supposed to be dating, like, these people? Is that the point of this? I'm so confused. Legendary temper. Now I've been a clerk for a while. It's not as if I haven't heard all the stories about High Master Smith the Sangman and his legendary temper, but I've always figured that they were an exaggeration. Especially after I met him for the first time, the man seemed like an absolute model of a gentleman, and rather calm and unemotional. I'm not criticizing him, I just haven't imagined the man to get angry. It was while an official was presenting the facts of a murder case to him, a drunken brawl between peasants gone horribly wrong. It all seemed satisfactory enough, a dozen men have seen it. Wasn't really any doubt about it. So far, so good. Very well, the High Magistrate said. Let me read the confession then, before I pass the sentence. The official didn't have one, which is visible enough. A lot of times I can't get it out of them, but I've never seen a magistrate who was really all too concerned about those little details. Excuse me? You didn't have a confession? He said, his boots soared right there. Why are you wasting my time then? He looked up at the accused who had been kowtowing silently up until this point. Do you even admit to killing him? The murderer seemed confused, and it took a minute to realize he was being addressed. Furthermore, when he didn't figure it out, he simply kept mumbling, "Not my fault, wasn't my fault," and the such. The High Magistrate was furious. "What is wrong with you? What is this man doing for me in a state like this? He doesn't admit to doing it. What do you expect me to do?" he demanded. After some silence from the official, he continued, "It wasn't a rhetorical question. Please, allow me. What do you expect me to do?" "To punish him?" the official finally offered, weakly as, "Nope. Nope. There." Confused about the matter as I was. Punish him? This was what set him completely off the edge. He stood up, shouting, "We are not given the responsibility of punishment. What are we, barbarians looking for vengeance? The point of justice is to teach immoral men like him the error of their ways," he lectured, shining at the top of the lungs. "How do you expect to do that with a man who won't even admit his own actions? Does this man look like he's ready to learn? Do you seriously believe that? Are you simple?" Yeah, it's getting hard to speak now. The official looked as though he was about to argue, but then thought against it. "Smart move," the High Magistrate continued more calmly. "Now stop wasting my time and get him out of the office. Come back when you have a confession and a clue as to what your job really entails." With that, he left, leaving the official speechless, and leaving me realizing that perhaps the legendary temper and being a model gentleman wasn't quite so mutually exclusive as I had thought. Oh, right. Blair. One of these days, I will remember. See, he wasn't always that bad. He was an embarrassment and far from pinnacle of virtue. I didn't think that highly of him, but at the end of the day, it was about politics, not about his character. Okay, what else do you got for me, honey? Oh. Yeah, let's actually go over this one. "Dearest mother, I really could use your advice. Husband is working very late into the night recently on some business that he wouldn't even share with me. I understand his reluctance to talk to me about things his superior has sworn him to secrecy on, and that damn child has been keeping me plenty busy anyways, but I still wish he could tell me. Last night he was out even later than normal. When he finally did return, he had a black eye, his face and hands bloodied. He looked really bad. The sight of that really scared me. Of course, if you of all people know that I'm hardly squeamish at the sight of blood, it was how hurt he looked. I hurried him to the kitchen and started to clean his wounds. I admit my voice was wavering when I asked, 'Husband, what happened?' He was reluctant to answer and grunted his pain when I convinced him to put ice on his bruised eye. He finally did, and I absolutely can't repeat what he said to me. Do you understand? Not a word of it to anyone, not even to father. But I truly need advice." I had some questions for the High Magistrate's office. He sent his brother, Sim Sanko, to answer them. "That's the dumb, nasty one, my husband shut off the key. I asked him something he didn't agree with. I had the moral high standing, but he had the physical high standing. His wounds clean, I didn't know what to do, but touched the uninjured part of his face to confront him. Then he joked. Turns out his argument hurt a whole lot more than mine, but I couldn't tell underneath that he was truly hurt. What do I do, mother? How is a woman supposed to respond to such an awful thing happening? I tried to confront him as best as I can, but I just don't know what else I can do, mother. Please, you must have some advice." "Oh, I don't really know anything about this, Kim Young-soo. I only knew about men who were actually of some importance." "Oh, I don't think I can help you there, sorry." "Is that what's going to be the case for all of these?" "Oh, I don't really know. Okay. So why did you give me that then?"